All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is JP Gralty and I'm from the Community Innovation Network in Cleveland, Ohio in the United States. We're so happy to have you here. We're going to start with a video welcome from John McKnight we're playing for the sessions of this conference. So I'll get that queued up and then we'll get started.
So welcome everybody around the world. And I think the first thing we all need to do is to thank Dee Brooks and Michelle Dunscombe, both of whom have at no charge to anybody created the most wonderful opportunity for us to talk all around the world. What a grand thing. So we want to thank them first. And then, isn't it something to see people from all over the world who know about and are in various forms of practice of this thing called ABCD? Jody Kretzmann and I did research about neighborhoods and what makes them strong for about 4 years. And then we put out this guide and we printed 500 copies and didn't think we'd ever sell them, right? And now 125,000 copies have been sold and we've given away, I think, 20,000 or so. So the wonderful thing for us is that when we published the guide, we thought we were done. And the demand grew and grew, and this is almost the culmination. Who would have imagined 27 years ago that two guys in an office printing a guide, not even publishing it through Amazon or anything, just a guide, that it would grow to what we're seeing today. So we're just thrilled, and it's all done by the people who are associated with us and with the movement. It's all self-defined, self-made, handmade, right? And so we don't run by programs. We're not managed, right? We don't have a whole paraphernalia of electronics. And so I think there's something really authentic about what's going on here. We have so many groups who are making presentations and sharing what they know, and we're going to learn so much from each other. And it was conceived not by us in Chicago where the thing started. We didn't conceive. We learned about it, as we do most things, because people believe that citizens ought to be the center, and if you're at the center, then you act like a citizen. You act like somebody who has the power to decide what they want to do and get other people to join them to do it. So it's all created by you. And that's just thrilling. So this is the real stuff, the most important stuff. And I welcome you all to this movement. You're in it. I don't have to welcome you, but I want to say hello for all of us here, at least at DePaul University. And look forward to learning so much by listening to the sessions that are going ahead. We're going to record them so people can hear them later. And let me finally suggest that there is one guide that a person who just wanted to start out might use, and you can get it for free. It's called Discovering Community Power. And if you go to our website, abcdinstitute.org, and look under publications, you'll find this guide, Discovering Community Power. And it is the most powerful starter that we've been able to produce. So right on, wow, this is a fantastic thing that's happening here. And I hope it will grow and grow and grow. So around the world we go. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Chupp from the Community Innovation Network in Cleveland, Ohio. And I know that was a pre-recorded message, but we could have had John McKnight do it in person because I think he's in this room. And so welcome, John. We're glad to have you join us. And as I understand it, we have a couple thousand people joining this conference or unconference over the last couple of days, which is really phenomenal. So a big shout out to those organizing it. This session is on virtual practices, and we have on our team, and I'll let each of them introduce themselves in a second. The two groups that are co-hosting this are Neighborhood Connections, which many of you know has been going for a number of years in Cleveland, and the Community Innovation Network, which is an organization at Case Western Reserve University that I have founded and direct. And what we're going to learn about is how we build bridges across lines of difference and co-create a more just and equitable and inclusive community. And that's what our organizations are about. And we're going to put in the chat, if we haven't already, the links to our organizations. So let's just have our team members introduce themselves, and then I'll say another comment. So JP, you've introduced yourself. Lisa Jean, you want to start?
Sure. My name is Lisa Jean Sylvia, and I'm here in Cleveland as well. You'll hear folks call me LJ, so that's who I am, is LJ. I have been doing community building since 2012 here in Cleveland, and have had the opportunity to work with both the Community Innovation Network and Neighborhood Connections. So it's great to be here today. I don't know, who am I passing it to? Nikki, maybe?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki Dennis. I am an intern at the Community Innovation Network. I am from St. Mary, Jamaica, and I'm currently living in Shaker Heights, Ohio.
Is Indigo on the line?
She's not, and I'll go ahead and introduce. We have two folks who are rushing back from other meetings to join us at computers, even while this is virtual. We're still trying to be in multiple places at once in this work, and so Indigo Bishop, who has done work with both the Community Innovation Network and Neighborhood Connections, will be joining us. She's also on the faculty at the ABCD Institute. And Xinwen Cui, who's also not here quite yet, but will be joining us shortly, is also a member of our team at the Community Innovation Network at Case Western. And so we're all very excited to be here today and to share some of the things we've been doing to build community virtually.
Okay, so today we're going to be learning about two virtual practices for asset-based community building: the virtual marketplace and the virtual monthly meetup. The virtual marketplace is an interactive circle activity that's been adapted for virtual use. We developed this as a wide range of group settings to encourage people to exchange with each other around very practical needs in their daily lives. Its primary appeal is the short period of time required to spark a relatively large number of interactive and interesting exchanges. And people can make requests, offers, or declarations during a time called the marketplace. The second practice we'll learn is about the virtual monthly meetup. And this is a virtual networking event developed by the Community Innovation Network that includes a check-in, activity stations, a movement moment, so you get up out of your seats, and learning circles. All of these practices can really be facilitated by anyone with a very basic level of training. And we're very happy to share these practices with you, along with any background tools and resources you need to implement these practices yourself. Our team will share our email addresses in the marketplace spreadsheet that you'll see and have access to after the session. So please feel free to reach out to any one of us. Before I turn it back to LJ, I just want to say that some of you have done this already, but if you just joined us in the chat, please introduce yourself by sharing your name, where you're from, and or your organization. And if you're willing, your email address. We're asking you to share your email address because in a few minutes, we'll be participating in a community building practice, the marketplace, where you'll actually make connections with other people. So we need to be able to help you make those connections. By sharing your email address, we'll be able to do that. I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to LJ or Lisa Jean.
Thanks, Mark. I just shut my window by accident here. Okay. So as Mark said, the marketplace is something that we use in a variety of settings here in Cleveland. And I just put a link in the chat. You can see some sort of background information. The marketplace was originally developed by Frankie Blackburn with Trusted Space Partners, and we've been doing it in person for, well, since 2012, so for 8 years. And we've been doing it virtually since March. The marketplace is really a practice that is meant to help uncover the gifts and skills and talents of everyone in the room right there in the room. It's a way for us to remember that we all have something to give and something to, some way to get what we need. Let's see. So this, before we kind of get started, I will say that we have a couple of people. There's 3 different roles. So I'm going to be the marketplace leader today, and that's my job, is to move us through, explain how it works, and then move us through as we go along. We're also going to have a couple of scribes. JP is going to be scribing, and also Nikki is going to be scribing. And this is their first time doing this in the virtual setting. So we're going to ask for your patience and maybe even some forgiveness. We are going to be taking, the way that it works is we'll take 2 rounds. So you all are putting your contact info and your name in the marketplace in the chat right now. And Nikki and JP are putting that info into a spreadsheet. So I'm going to share that spreadsheet right now so you can just see what it looks like. This is my script, and here is the spreadsheet. So you can see that they're actually putting that into that spreadsheet, and they'll be putting your contact info in there as well. And at the end of this, it actually gets added into a master spreadsheet, and you can access this spreadsheet and see all of the requests and offers that are out there. So anytime that you want to go, say you need something, you can come back to this and check in and see what's available. So the other role that's pretty important, and I'm going to ask Mark to take that role, is the timekeeper. We have 48 people on this marketplace already. We do not have time for everyone to go today. So we have timekeeper is going to keep time for 1 minute. For each person, we'll have 1 minute. And during that minute, you'll be given the option to make a request, an offer, a declaration, or you can pass. And a request or an offer is exactly what it sounds like. A request is something that you need. An offer is something that you want to give up to the network or provide to the network. It could be something tangible. It could be, for example, I have an extra paper shredder that that's looking for a new home. I could offer that up, or it could be a gift. You could say, I'm really good at using Google Docs and I'm willing to help someone learn. Or it might be something that you need, and similarly, you can ask for that. So that's a request and an offer, and a declaration is a way of publicly saying and committing to action. So you could say, this is a real declaration. I'm LJ and I am going to take a walk today. And by putting that into the space, then you are, you're finding yourself some accountability buddies there. I can't see everyone, so I need to see some faces so I can see if any of that is making sense. How's it all landing? Yeah, okay, thank you for the active participation there. Appreciate it. So the way that it's gonna work is that we're gonna start going down this list, and when it's your turn, you're going to have 1 minute, or you can pass. And Mark is going to then time us. Mark, can you unmute yourself and let us know, how are you going to tell us when our time is up?
You'll hear a ding of my timer.
I know you can make something more fun than that, Mark.
Well, I didn't know I was doing that, so I'm thinking on the fly here.
Well,
It might get more interesting. All right.
Okay, fun is part of our core values. We have to make this fun. In person, the way that we make this more fun is we make sure that there are noisemakers, and every kid in the room gets a noisemaker, actually, even if you're a 50-year-old kid or a 40-year-old kid like me. So, so Mark is going to keep our time, and then we'll ask you to make sure that you keep it to that minute. Am I missing anything from my script? Let's see. Yes, an important piece here is that you saw the spreadsheet that we shared. That is a publicly available spreadsheet. So if you do not want to include your email or your contact info in that spreadsheet, please let us know. Even if you've already included it here, you can just put a note that says do not include, okay? All right. How are my scribes doing?
LJ, we are still trying to get everybody in the list.
So we're not gonna have time to get everybody. So maybe what we could do is actually see where we're at and just take it from there. Does that make sense?
Great.
Does that work? I can't see Nikki. Go ahead.
I put a couple of us at the top to give samples for anybody who doesn't want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You read my mind. I appreciate it. You can add me in there too, because I'll double duty. So all right. So I'm going to ask JP to get us started. So JP, do you have any request, offer, or declaration, or you can pass, but you can't pass because I need you to be a good example.
So today I have an offer, and I want to offer to share any of the background materials or resources, or we have a window pane that details exactly how to do the practices from this session. So if you'd like to learn that, I'd like to offer to both share those materials, and I'd be also happy to give you a little introduction to kind of how to use it.
Awesome. So now if you want to match with JP, what you're going to do is you're going to put in the chat your name, and you will say like LJ matches with JP. So if you want to match with him, then you go ahead and put that in there, and we'll make sure that we know. Of course, if you don't get to match, it's not a big deal, because everyone's going to get the spreadsheet. Does that make sense? Awesome. Thanks, Wendy. I see that you've got it there. All right. So next on our list is Mark.
I'm going to pass.
Okay, great. Next on our list is me, and my request is that if you have any thoughts or feedback about how we can make this better, we would like to hear it. So that's my request. Excellent. And next is Nikki.
Thank you, LJ. I'm going to pass for now.
Okay, great. All right, so now we're getting into the real folks. So I have Stacy in Memphis.
Hey everyone, I could make an offer. I absolutely love to brainstorm about anything creative. So if anybody needs somebody to throw some ideas off of, happy to do that.
Oh, I love that. So anyone who wants to brainstorm with Stacy about creative ideas can go ahead and match with Stacy. I love that offer. Fantastic. Next on our list, awesome. Thanks, Martha, for matching with Stacy. I love it. Next on our list is Mary Nelson in Minnesota.
Yeah, I have an offer. I'm a part of the Christian Community Development Association, and we're having a virtual gathering in October called The Collective, with people from all over sharing ideas and sharing experiences and so forth, and it can be accessed through ccda.org.
ccda.org. Awesome. Miss Mary, can I ask you also, and Stacy as well, if you want your contact info to be included in the spreadsheet, then you can actually add your name, your email address, or your phone number, however you want folks to be contacting you. Put that in there and our scribes will get it. I'm gonna check on them. You guys are doing a great job over here as scribes. How's it doing? Am I going too fast or too slow? We're doing okay?
Sure.
Awesome. Miss Deb in Wisconsin, how are you today?
Hi there. I'm great. It's beautiful here. And I have an offer. We did a session last evening about rural communities, and we're going to be following up with everybody that came to our session on rural communities. But if you weren't in that session and you would like to get me to follow up with your, send you some information and get you connected around what we're doing with rural communities, just let me know and I'd be happy to connect with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Deb. If you can put your contact info, then we'll add that to the sheet. That way folks will know how you want to be contacted.
Oh, I thought I did that.
And you might have. I'm sorry. I'm just going to repeat. I
Okay.
can't look at all the sheets at one time.
Oh, okay.
I'll add that if you did, the chat has been flooded with things and we've missed a lot of email addresses. So if you could add it again, now we didn't quite, there's so many of you here. It's a really great thing, but it means, help us out a little bit and go ahead and put your email in again and we'll make sure we get it.
In person, when we do these marketplaces, we're taking notes on flip chart paper, and there can be as many as 100 people in the room, but we only have about 20 minutes for a marketplace. So we're actually bidding for time. And then in virtual world here, this is actually one of the bigger marketplaces that we've ever had since we've only been doing them since March. So JP and Nikki are doing a good job, but guess what? Shin just came in the room, so Shin is going to give you a hand. All right, next on our list is Jess in Nova Scotia.
Hi, so I have an offer to put out. I'm curious, I really enjoy debriefing after conferences and talking about what we learned and how we look to bring that into our own spheres of work. So if anyone is willing to connect after the conference and find some debrief time to chat and share what we've learned and how we look to implement that, I would be happy to do so.
I love it. What a great request. So go ahead and put that contact info in there. If you want to match with Jess, then go ahead and let her know. All right, we have Miss Barbara in St. Louis.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm a facilitation wonk, so if anybody wants to chat about creative ideas for facilitating both community work, but also now the virtual, and I'm also teaching online more, and that's a real challenge. So if anybody wants to talk about facilitation techniques and some ideas for that, I'm open. I've got some connections with some new resources like Mural that connects to Zoom, and then you can use Post-it notes and things like that. It tends to be, I think, too expensive for community groups. So, but they've got a 90-day free trial. So,
Cool. Thank you, Ms. Barbara. I see lots of folks in the chat who want to connect with you. Now, nobody has had a chance to get cut off by Mark because we're doing a really good job of being fast. So I'm going to challenge someone to let Mark cut them off. Next on our list is Nick in Scotland.
Hi there. Mine's a request. I'm trying to fire up our community once we come out of lockdown to actually be a community where we actually want to flourish together. And so I've been working with our local development trust to write a vision statement, which reads, and I might get your minute line. We want Pennycook to flourish and be a resilient community where residents of all ages are able to meet their full potential, where people know their views are important and influence local decisions, where we work together to develop a very strong and capable community that cares for each other and helps, sustains and supports people at every stage of life and cares for our environment. So, anyone that wants to tell me how I should go about it and engage our community. There you go.
All right, so you're looking for folks to help you figure out how to make your vision statement come true.
Yeah, exactly. How do we reach out? How do we connect to our neighbors?
Folks who can help Nick brainstorm and come up with ideas and reach their neighbors. Mark, I am trying to get to a minute, but I'm not doing it, am I? I
don't think you heard it. It wasn't loud enough, but it did. I did make a sound.
Oh, okay. This is why the fun is so important. Thank you, Mark. All right, so now we have Jay in Holland, Michigan. Holland, Michigan.
And I will pass for now.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And next we have Therese in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Hi, I am a co-chair of a faith-based organization, and I would like to make a declaration. We have been, for the last couple of years, engaging in racial dialogues, and I am making a declaration that at my Catholic church, my organization, I am going to begin these dialogues within the next few weeks.
All right, I love that declaration. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. All right. So we have Wendy in Edmonton, Canada.
Hi, everyone. I can't decide whether I want to declare or offer, or it's so exciting. One of the things, I guess I'll make an offer. I'm the co-coordinator of the Abundant Community Edmonton program, which is based on John's work, of course. So we have a program that connects neighbors to neighbors at the block level or the building floor level or the cul-de-sac level. And we have a really neat program, and we're happy to share it with other municipalities, other groups across the world. And so I would like to offer to share information about that program that's based on John's book and Peter Block, of course. And so that's an offer right there for you.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Wendy. All right. Next, we have Martha in England. I can't say the name of your town, so you have to teach me. Martha here? For the sake of time, Martha, I'm going to keep going and we'll circle back. All right. And then we have Amy Kelly in Quebec.
Have to pass, sorry, thanks.
No, that's okay, thank you, Amy. How about Linda in Kansas? Okay. Carolyn in Canada. Carolyn or Caroline?
Caroline. Yeah, I can't think of something off my head right now, so I might pass.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, we have Megan in Orlando.
Hi, I am going to make a request. Within the past few weeks, I've been introduced to ABCD, so learning a lot about it. But I do work with congregations and houses of faith. So if anyone has any specific resource or any articles that's been extremely helpful in that work, that would be much appreciated.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay, we have Megan in Orlando. Did I just redo you? Yeah. Sorry. Gosh, the list is so long, it's hard to keep track. Joel in Minnesota.
I have an offer. I would like to introduce, I love connecting people. So I'll introduce you to amazing simple living enthusiasts, multi-potentialites, people with a diversity of interests, passions, creative outlets, also known as polymaths or Renaissance souls, quantum biology enthusiasts, minimalist spreadsheet creators, podcasters, community builders, probably other sorts of folks. If you want to know anyone who has that kind of mentality or label, I would like to connect you with them.
Fantastic. We love connectors around here. So very important. All right. I think I missed someone, Linnea, and I don't have a location for you. I'm also not sure if I'm saying your name right. Are you here, Linnea?
Hi, this is Linnea. I don't actually have well, maybe we do have a need actually. So I've got Selena, one of our community members, listening in via my phone through like my computer because she's blind and we couldn't get her connected through a phone option. So maybe just any suggestions that folks have for technologies for connecting community members who are visually impaired would be awesome.
All right, so that's a really important request. I'm really glad that we got to it. So anyone who has information about how to help access technology for visually impaired community members, awesome. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Linnea, I want to make sure we have your contact info. So if you are able to put that in the chat, that would be great. How are we doing over here, scribes? How are we doing? I feel like we're a little harsh on you. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I think we're doing all right. We're trying to keep up.
Okay, so I want to take a quick pause and ask if anyone has any questions so far. Normally we would just keep going, but you're also here to learn. So I want to slow down and see if anyone has any questions. I can actually share the spreadsheet on the screen so you can see how it's getting populated. So you can see here that they're filling this in. And then they have the chat to go back and see that chat again. Anyone have any questions? Not, we're gonna just keep going. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see, where are we? Julie in Madison.
I have a request. So I'm Jewel from Madison, and I work for a city government, and we're working in an area that there's really limited technology. And so I'm looking for creative ideas. How do you reach out in this time of COVID in which technology is not going to be, it will not involve the entire community if we just use technology by itself?
Yeah, that is a great question. So I put that in there. I would love to match with you. And I'm going to break the marketplace rules because I'm going to share with you that one of the things that we did is we started making phone calls and inviting people to connect to the marketplace, and we'll enter their information in and we'll actually help connect them to the resources, right? So this is kind of a fancy way to try to connect, but the good old fashioned connecting also works. I also saw that there was a question. Richard, you asked, is this done at every meeting? We do not do this at every meeting, but we do this a lot. And actually you notice when you start to do this over and over again, that you need it a little bit less because everyone gets really used to saying, hey, I have a request or I have an offer. And life just instantly becomes so much richer. Anybody on the team have something to add to that? All right, I'm going to keep going. I see Patrick in Appleton, Wisconsin. Okay.
You're on mute, Patrick. I think he was talking.
Go ahead, Patrick.
You're still on mute.
Can we unmute him, help him unmute?
I think I can. Give me 1 second. Where is Patrick?
I can't even find him.
I can go into participants.
Patrick, go to your lower left corner of your screen and you'll see a mute sign.
Oh, I think I see you.
I
there
clicked
you go.
yes. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not all that just to tell you that I have to pass. I just got a call from neighborhood group, and we're having a Zoom meeting that I had totally forgot about. It started at 12:30, and they're asking where I am, so I have to go to that meeting. And I apologize. I have to leave.
Patrick, before you leave, put your email address in the chat, and you'll get the notes from today. Okay?
Yeah, I threw it in there already. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day. All right. I see Elise in North Carolina.
Hi, I have a request. If anyone has resources, ideas for how to engage youth, especially now, I would really appreciate any tools, ideas that you can share.
Awesome. So any ideas about working with youth? I'm going to pause for a question. Jay, you asked, does this practice give life used in a place-based context? Can you say a little bit more about your question?
Yeah, so I live in a very neighborhood context, and you know, COVID means a whole lot less neighbor-to-neighbor interaction. We have nextdoor.com that helps us connect a lot, but it's not conversational and it's not life-giving in the sense of that this process does. So do you have a methodology for applying this in a place-based context?
Absolutely, absolutely. So like I said, we've been doing this since 2012 in person. And so all you need to do to make this place-based is to simply only invite people who are in your place. And then you'll have a room full of people who are physically in proximity to each other, and you'll see that the quality and texture of the requests and offers is very, very different. One of the most powerful things that I learned about the marketplace, we did this for about a year and a half in an apartment building that was predominantly people who had lower income. And it took us a while to get started, but the best moment was when everyone, not when they realized they had something they could get from the process, but when they realized that they had something to offer. This little like light went off and it was amazing. So it is hugely life-giving if you do it in place-based. And if you're outdoors, you could, you could see each other, you could do it the old-fashioned way maybe. So great question. All right, so where are we on this sheet? We have Michelle in Australia.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's ridiculous o'clock here, so if I don't make sense, please forgive me. I'd actually like to make an offer. I'm the co-creator of Deadly ABCD, which is First Nations here in Australia. And deadly means awesome, by the way. It doesn't mean deadly. Yeah, it's Indigenous language for awesome. So I'd actually like to put the offer out there. Anybody who's interested in looking at First Nations and ABCD and how we put create culturally safe spaces, but also put a cultural lens on ABCD. I'd love to hear from them.
Oh, I love that. I just put my match in there. I want to learn more for sure. Anyone else who wants to learn can put their match in the chat. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you for being awake at God o'clock hour. Fantastic. Ron, I'm not sure where you are, Ron. It says Pacific Community Solutions. Don't see Ron.
You're on mute, Ron. Ron Dyer, boss.
Hi, Ron. You are muted. There you go.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm doing this from a phone. Driving through California right now. I think I have a request. I, with some people on this call, serve on the ABCD Institute board, which sort of carries the legacy of what John spoke of earlier, and also is trying to look towards the future and how a mostly volunteer-run institute with that legacy can best support the ABCD movement. So I would love to hear from folks about how that ABCD Institute can be most useful to this movement.
Awesome. So anyone who wants to weigh in on that question about how the Institute can be useful, go ahead and match with Ron. He's driving through California as we speak. Thanks, Ron. I have Anna. Go ahead. Did you have something else, Ron? Okay. Anna, go ahead, in Winston-Salem.
Hi, so for a really small organization, we only have like 6 full-time people. And I'm the technical assistance training coordinator. And one of the big challenges I've run into right now is hosting webinars with a small staff, because it really goes a long way with having people back up like scribes and timekeepers and such. So I'd love any suggestions of best practices or suggestions on how to best facilitate webinars and workshops with a small group of people.
Great. So anyone who has ideas about hosting webinars with a small group of people or a small number of staff can go ahead and put that match in the chat. Thank you, Anna. Is it Anna or Anna?
It's Anna.
Anna, thank you. All right. How about Michelle in Fayetteville?
Hi, y'all. I would like to make a request that so I work with rural communities in persistent poverty counties in the South. And I would really like to make a request that anybody who would like to have a dialogue and creative brainstorming about motivating community members to stay engaged and to do the work, some of the work themselves, and rather than let us lead them too much in the work, would contact me and we could talk about motivation.
Okay, so interested in talking about motivation, then go ahead and match in the chat. I'm realizing that some folks may actually be on the call that were not there at the beginning when they did introductions. If you would like to have a turn and you haven't had one yet, then you can go ahead and either raise your hand with the Zoom functionality or put a note in the chat. All right, I see Joel in Nova Scotia. You had a question or you wanted to? I can't see.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Joel. I have a request. If in the project that I'm working on over this summer, we're developing a program to engage diverse youth in work-ready skills as well as with a community engagement focus. So if anybody had any resources or research or articles connecting the value of engaging in community to encourage positive workplace skill development, I would love that. I believe that inherently, but our government partners might need a little bit of help. So would appreciate any resources that people had.
All right, so anyone with resources that will help Joel can go ahead and write your match in the thing. And Joel, make sure you put your contact info in the chat because I'm not sure that we have it. And did anybody else raise their hand? And Mark Chupp, how are we doing on time? I'm having overall time.
I think we're good.
Okay.
You're good on overall time. I have this until 2:05, LJ, if we want to keep.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
I don't know how close to you are you through the list?
We still have a ways to go.
Yeah, we've got time.
So,
Roberta
all right,
has her
folks,
hand up.
Roberta, go ahead.
I want to informing a group to work with the book My Grandmother's Hands on racial-based trauma, and particularly to help white people understand how we've internalized racial-based trauma. And if anyone has worked with this book, My Grandmother's Hands, and worked with a group, I would really like to understand some of the things that you did and just pick your brain about that. So my request is anyone who has worked with My Grandmother's Hands.
Awesome. And that just reminded me of another little piece, which is I matched with Roberta, but not because I have experience, but because I know someone who loves that book. So don't forget that you can tap into your network when you're trying to come up with some of these matches. Mm-hmm. Dee, I see in the chat that you, Dee in Australia, that you have a declaration. Let's hear it.
Yes, I have a declaration that we are going to do this annually. And so I am inviting anyone who wants to be on next year's Unconference planning group, please contact me. And we did this in 6 weeks with about 30 of us from 10 different countries. So imagine what we can do with a lead up of 12 months. And Jessica's already suggested that we create a digital passport for people traveling around the world to these different sessions so we can have fun with it. So yeah, please Oh, and by the way, Michelle, we're going to do this annually, okay?
I love it. I love it. What a great declaration. Thank you, Dee. I see Elena has raised their hand.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elena Walker. I'm in New Brunswick in Canada, and I've been doing some research about community building. And honestly, I'm a newcomer to ABCD. And so my request is to connect with anyone in Atlantic Canada that's working within this model so that I don't recreate any networks that are already existing. So if anybody can reach out to me, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you. Now I see, is it true that we have a second Mary Nelson in here? We had a Mary Nelson earlier in Minnesota, but I think there's another person named Mary Nelson from Chicago. Is that true?
It's the same person. I just put in that information of my email address. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. I thought, wow, that's pretty fabulous. Okay. Thank you, Mary. How about Hannah in the UK?
Hi guys, I am going to pass on this one, but thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Elena, or did we already get you? Yeah, we did. Susan in Canada.
Hi, I have a request. Started a brand new neighborhood association, well, myself with a few other people in our neighborhood at the very beginning of a COVID pandemic. And we have tried to do this virtually and maintain the momentum, but yeah, the timing was, so my request is not only how to do it in a pandemic, but in general, how do you motivate and engage and build a neighborhood association.
All right. So, and anyone willing to give Susan a hand, that would be great. Susan's just getting started and getting started right in the middle of the pandemic. So awesome. And how about Tia in Louisville?
Hi, everybody. It's actually funny because I just started too. I've always had an interest in community development, but I just started with our organization, which is the Center for Neighborhoods in Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm going to make a declaration and say that I am totally going to get stronger as it relates to ABCD and make sure that I use that in every move when I'm here in Louisville, because we need it.
Woohoo!
And we totally embrace it.
I love that declaration. And maybe you and Susan can be like just getting started buddies from different parts of the world. I love it.
I'm going to put that in the chat.
All right. Richard Ruth in Wichita. My daddy's name is Richard.
I think I'm going to pass. I love hearing what folks have to say, and I've matched with some folks in the chat. So
excellent. I'm so happy to hear it. Thank you, Richard. How about Jim in Virginia? Trying to see you, Jim. Jim, for some reason, we're not able to hear you, but you're not on mute. But I think maybe your volume, your audio is not connected. Jim, if you're able to use the chat, you can go ahead and put your request or your offer in the chat, and I'll read it out for you, okay?
Are you guys talking to me?
I was talking to Jim in Virginia.
Oh, there's a Jim, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll talk to you next. All right, so Jim, you're gonna put that in the chat. Did you wanna go next? Is it Ten Yoon?
You can call me Tim.
Tim, okay.
I'm from Manitoba, Winnipeg. Currently, I'm working as a research assistant. To be quite honest, it's been difficult working from home and like not being able to connect with other academics to get the inspirations I need to do the work that I do. So I think I want to put out a request to learn how you guys perform community mobilization during the pandemic, especially when it comes to dignity promotion for typically disenfranchised groups.
Okay, so I hear two things in there. I hear wanting to learn about how we're mobilizing, and I also hear I just simply want to connect with other people, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that is so real, and I think that's a really important piece here. So anyone interested in connecting with Tin Yun, and Tin, can you put your contact info in the chat? I just want to make sure we get it.
Of course.
Awesome.
I put it in already, but I'll do it again.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So we only have about 6 more minutes. So I want to know if anyone has a burning desire. I also want to know, and I see some offers in the chat here. Jim in Virginia, here is his offer. His offer is soul care. This is simply a time to be heard and prayed for and prayed with. It is not a counseling or coaching, an opportunity to receive some care. So if anyone is interested in taking Jim up on his offer for soul care, then you can go ahead and connect in the chat. And Jim, let's make sure we have your contact info so people can follow up with you on that. I'm sure some folks will want that. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand, or if you want to take a turn, you can go. And I know, Deb, that you had a second request or an offer, so you can go ahead and put that in there. You can raise your hand too, okay? Where's Deb? Oh, Martha, you're raising your real hand and I didn't see it. Go ahead, Martha.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I dipped out to do family supper things, but I'm back again now, so I'm sorry for what I've missed. I'd like to make a request, please. We have a significant population who are not online, so digital methods don't always work. And there's a big funding bid that's being prepared by the local authority, and I really want to make sure that people who are digitally excluded get to have their say on what's going to happen in their neighbourhood, or at least just share in the dreaming. So I have a request. I'm looking for some really innovative, off-the-wall, interesting, but socially distanced ways of getting some good quality face-to-face conversations, dialogue with the members of the public. I've done things in the past, like set up a sitting room in the middle of the road, like a couple of sofas and a lamp stand and a coffee table and all that, and invite people to come and sit in my front room in the street. We've talked about creating a labyrinth. We've talked about doing all sorts of things, but feed me ideas, please. I'd love that. So that's my request, please.
So there are some folks who said that they would help. And then I also want to encourage you to go look through the spreadsheet, because someone earlier said they were really good at creative brainstorming, right? So
was that Stacy? Because I was still here for Stacy.
I don't remember, but I know it's in the spreadsheet, and you're going to get a copy of it at the end as long as you put your email in the chat. And
That
there's
is
a
amazing.
process question. Amanda, you asked a process question. Does the spreadsheet ever delete things? I hope it doesn't. I haven't known it to. I've known that people in the spreadsheet delete things by accident. That's why it's on Google Drive, so we can always revert if we need to. We've been doing this since March with this spreadsheet. So as for right now, it's still live right now. And how we do it is there's one tab for each session, and then it gets all added into the long list. And so far, we have just kept it as one long list. We talked about what happens when it gets too long, but we haven't gotten there yet. So we're all about figuring it out as we go along. Did that answer your question, Amanda? I can't see you. All right, any other process questions? And you can actually, I see 3 people are raising their hand electronically. Elena. Elena?
You got me already. We're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How about David in Des Moines?
Hello, I've been doing ABCD trainings for about 2.5, almost 3 years now. I've been trying to start up a local community group and have been running up against a brick wall. I may not be the best salesperson or have high charisma, but you know, I try. So anyway, if anybody has any ideas or any, you know, different kinds of support on how I might be able to move forward, thank you.
Awesome. I really appreciate that request. So anyone able to help David get through those hard moments when it feels like no one's gonna buy into what you're trying to get happening. So go ahead and match in the chat. And David, make sure we have your contact info. I see Katrina.
Good morning. I'm also dialing in from Australia and didn't do so well as Dee, and Brooks didn't manage to get dressed, so excuse the fluffy robe. I am working in the environmental space and applying ABCD to develop community groups around a river that has a really is in need of a lot of love. It's got a tagline of one of Australia's most polluted urban rivers. So I'd really love to connect with anyone else that is working in applying ABCD in the environmental space, or conversely, if you want to talk sustainability and whatever your projects are, I'm really happy to share. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll hide again.
Oh, I think it's great. Katrina, thank you for making it in the middle of the night to make that fabulous request. Anyone who wants to connect about sustainability can contact Katrina. I see Amy in Quebec.
Yes, hi. I'm from the United States, originally in Tennessee. I live in Quebec now for 3 years. I am interested in either connecting with or creating a global network for sustainable solutions. I'm really matching communities with each other. And what I mean by sustainable solutions is, you know, how do I create a solar panel display on my house for this much energy usage? Or how do I make my own generator? Different things like that. So if anybody is interested in just talking about that, connecting communities that way, or they know a network that's already in existence, I would love to connect with you.
Thank you, Amy. And I'm looking at the chat. I see that you worked really hard to raise your hand and you figured it out. So I'm really grateful for that request. Anyone who has some info about sustainability or would like to chat more can go ahead and match with Amy. How about David? I think we already had David Everett in Calgary.
And you're close to the time limit, LJ, just so you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mark. All right. I'll open it just for any last questions about how to use this or how this all works.
Hi, LJ. Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Wendy.
I just have a quick question about whether this tool is best used alone or if it's one of many things that you might include in an event. So I'm thinking specifically for virtual right now, just because we're looking for ways to connect neighborhoods and neighborhood leadership.
Right. We, in person at Neighbor Up, we were doing this as part of an event, and it's only one small component. But virtually, we've made the decision to have shorter events, but more often. And so this has become a standalone event, mostly because we just don't have the capacity to be online for 2 hours and pay attention. So I hope that helps. Stacy, you had a question? And it'll be our last word before we move on.
Okay, sorry. So who makes the contact, I guess? The person making the offer or the one who wants help, just for expectations and knowing what to do?
So what we're doing right now is we're putting this in the spreadsheet and we're only putting the contact info there for the person who made the request or offer. And then whoever wants to match with them has to go and make that match. So you're going to get the info later. Technically, if somebody's contact info will be in the spreadsheet. When we do this in person, we do not create a spreadsheet and we do not provide contact info. We're all in the same room, and our expectation is that you're going to do the matching in the room, and we create time for bumping and sparking, as we call it, so you can actually meet and connect in the room. All right. I think we're done, JP. I know you're still typing feverishly. We'll save the chat. We'll save the chat and we'll fill it in.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank everyone.
So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to shift and do one of the practices that we use in our Innovators virtual meetups. And so this is also an example of a normally in-person practice that we use that we've converted to be usable in a Zoom room. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up and using the breakout room function of Zoom in order to break into what are called learning circles. And so this is an opportunity for you to host a conversation about a community building topic that you want to learn more about by tapping into the wisdom and insights and the assets that are in this room. As we've already seen from the marketplace, there's a lot of really amazing wisdom, experience, tools, and knowledge that are here in this room in the 45 participants that are in here right now, right? And so this is an opportunity for you to host a conversation as a way to learn from the folks who are here. And so for the purposes of this workshop, we'd like it if we try to keep our learning circle topics to fit the theme of virtual practices for asset-based community building. But of course, it is totally up to you. You can host a learning circle topic on anything that you'd like to learn more about that taps into the wisdom that's in this room. And so to help us to do that, I'm going to share my screen in a minute. But before I do that, I have an instruction for Nikki and Chinwen. Nikki and Chinwen, I created a new spreadsheet listing the participants in this room because the last one is a little bit all over the place and not in order. And I'm listing them in the same order that's in the participant sheet. If the two of you don't mind, I share that with you on your email. If you go into that spreadsheet and fill the rest of that in for me, that'll help us assign the breakout rooms a lot faster. So I appreciate that if you're hearing me. Thanks, Chinwan, I see you in there, appreciate it. And so I'm gonna share in 1 second this next piece, and we'll jump into the learning circle. So, like I said, this is how we create our learning circles, and you can see that this is a blank canvas. This is a way for us to, we're holding the space and we're bringing a method and we're holding space for it, but this is an opportunity for you really to set the agenda of what you want to learn. So we didn't come in with predefined topics. So this is an opportunity for, I think, up to 8 of you to host a learning circle topic. And by hosting, you're agreeing to do these 3 things here. So if you want to host a topic, you're going to identify a topic right now where we are related to virtual practices for asset-based community building that you'd like to learn more about by tapping into the wisdom in the room. Once you're in the breakout session, if you're the host of that topic, we'd like you to restate your topic and then have everybody introduce themselves, again, in that smaller space, sharing their name and where they live. And then we also ask that you take a few notes on key insights that emerged from your conversation and email them to me at jpgralty@case.edu after the session, and we'll share all of those insights with the whole group so that if somebody wanted to participate in multiple conversations, this will be their way of kind of hearing maybe a little bit about what they might have missed. Are there any questions about that? And I can't see, I lost my view of participants, but I'm trusting that you're all seeing me. And if there are any questions, if my teammates here see or hear anything, if you could let me know. Okay. And so I'll ask, is there somebody who wants to host a learning circle?
Nick has said that he's interested in hosting.
Nick is interested in hosting. Oh, you know what? I realized what I did. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then if I need to, I still have this optimized for the video clip. That's what I was doing wrong. Here we are. That's better now. I have a screen of you folks. Nick, you're interested in hosting a conversation? So Nick, what's the conversation that you'd like to host? I can't hear you, Nick.
Nick, you're not on mute, but your volume is not working.
Yeah, we see you talking, and you're not on mute.
How about that? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Sorry, it's my dog. She pulled the microphone out. She's looking for attention. Yeah, it's really to follow up on my request from earlier. How do I move from several people being motivated to create community development in our town to engaging with people and getting them enthused at a neighborhood level?
So it's how do I build neighborhood level engagement in my community?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Great. That's a wonderful example of a learning circle topic. We have room for quite a few more. So who else would like to host a learning circle topic? This is a really awesome opportunity to tap the wisdom in this room.
So I can host one. I'm not an expert in this, but I think there's a need, and I do have some ideas, and that would be planning for low bandwidth, low attention virtual sessions. One of the things that you guys have done well is to provide links to continue connections with people, as well as links to resources that will help people continue to engage after the session. So if they experience dropouts because of poor connectivity or a very busy household, there's still a way to continue. So just a session on just thinking about that, what might be brought to bear on that task.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. It's another great example of a topic to host. And you said the magic word. I'm not an expert in this, but I'd like to learn more. That's exactly the purpose of this. The great news is that we all have wisdom and expertise to bring, and this is not the point for the expert in the room to say, oh, I want to have a conversation about this thing I'm an expert in, but rather the opportunity for you as a host to say, here's something I want to learn about, and tap into the expertise in the room. Who else would like to host a learning circle?
Dee Brooks says that they'll host.
Dee?
Yep, I'll host one on, what will I call it? Blended practices. Anyone who knows my title from LinkedIn, I call myself an ABCD blenderholic. So thinking of anything that you might find those kind of thin spaces in between, like appreciative inquiry, theory U, art of hosting, any of them, anything that you want to talk about where the kind of borders and boundaries are between them.
Can you help me phrase that as like a question or a topic that is a little bit easier to?
Maybe it's just discussing blended practices or ABCD and other practices.
Yeah.
What about how can we integrate other practices into our ABCD practice?
Thank you, LJ.
There's a couple more in the chat, really good ones too. You guys are going to have great conversations.
Great. Can you, it's a little bit hard for me to
Yeah,
do the share
sure.
screen. Can you just read
Jim
out?
says that Jim says that he'd like to host a discussion about how to engage all of his neighbors around racial issues. And
Okay.
Jim, let's see. Jim thinks his mic is working. Can you tell us? Can you try it again, Jim?
Here I am. Is it working?
Totally working.
I
Awesome
put
work.
my headsets on. Something's wrong with my computer.
Oh, you got it. Okay, so Michelle Vine says that they would like to host a conversation about being a technical assistance provider for communities. Michelle, can you say a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think that some of us are professional community development folks who are working in communities from the outside, and some of us are grassroots community individuals who are working from the inside. So as a technical assistance provider who works in communities that I do not live in, I would like to have conversations around that.
That's super helpful to clarify. Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
I
Anyone else
have
in
a
the chat?
question, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a duplicate to Jim's topic or Michelle's topic. I'm curious if any of you have engaged in community developments, researching with a group of demographic that you don't personally represent, and how do you go about doing research with those demographics without the possibility of explaining their lived experience? Am I making sense?
That seems like a separate topic to me and a worthwhile topic. Can I?
Sure.
Can we help to massage that into a clearer topic? So I heard, and the sound was breaking up a little bit for me, so I might not have heard this right.
Okay.
But what I heard was that you're looking for how to engage research when you're working with like populations of a different demographic than yourself.
Yep.
Is that what I heard?
Yep.
It's a really great question.
Thank you.
And then like yourself as the researcher, right?
Yep.
Great. I think that'll be a wonderful conversation.
Thank you.
Any others? Anything that I'm missing in the chat, LJ?
Wendy said that they would like to host a conversation on how to facilitate virtual community conversation.
Okay, wonderful. Wendy, what's your last name so I can get that in?
Keiller.
Got it. And I think we have room for one more Learning Circle topic. So who else would like to host a conversation? Or we can stop at 7 if that's good for you. So I'll leave this open for another 5 seconds. And if you have a burning topic that you'd like to tap into the wisdom in the room, speak now.
Hey, JP, on the first question, I think it's how instead of who.
Ah, thank you.
No, thank Martha.
Thank you, Martha. Appreciate it.
And also,
all right, well, we're going to go ahead.
One quick second. Can you make Mark a co-host, please?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Mark. I can do that. Absolutely.
That way he can share our video.
Yes. Done. All right. Well, we'll go forward with these 7 topics. Because there will inevitably be some folks who do not express a preference on breakout sessions, I'm actually going to create a, for those who decide not to make a choice, I will stay in kind of the main room. So we won't send you to a breakout room if you don't tell us a breakout room that you want to go to. And we will just have a generic Q&A about the practices we've used in the session in virtual community building practices with me. And so will do that, but I won't, that's not an option. We'd love for you to participate in these learning circles and these topics, but with a room this size, there'll be inevitably some folks who don't put a preference in. And so this is the opportunity now where I'm gonna unshare my screen and I'm gonna share these topics in the chat so that we can all see them. And so this is actually our opportunity in person. What this looks like is that we actually vote with our feet and we physically go to, oh, I'm sorry, I shared these without numbers. Please ignore that. We actually vote with our feet and we have the opportunity to people physically host a different conversation in a different part of the room, and people that actually physically move themselves to the circle of the conversation they want to host. Obviously online, we're going to be using breakout rooms. And so I will assign you to whatever breakout room you would like to. So this is your opportunity to vote with your feet. And we ask that just in the chat, in 1 second, I'm going to put I have the conversations all numbered 1 through 7. And we ask that you just type a number into the chat. And Nikki and Xinwen will get down what conversation you want to participate in. And we'll be able to assign you to those breakout rooms.
I think I'm up, right? Okay. So during that time, while we're doing this, we want to spend a little bit of time thinking about what we call a movement moment. And this is an opportunity really to give, in the virtual setting, give space for the team to put you into groups. But what it will do for us is give us an opportunity to actually get up and stretch a little bit, or in this case, maybe not get up. But we had a professional dancer work on our team, and who brought this notion of using our bodies much more in community building. And so we have in-person meetings, we have movement moments, and now we've been doing them virtually. So this is from our fearless Xinwen Sui, who is in the room, and this is a how-to video that they created. And so I ask you to join in and participate. And so I'm going to share the screen and this video, and you will be able to hear and see how to do this yourself. And so, too many screens open. So I ask you to join along.
Hi everyone, this is Xinyuan from Community Innovation Network. Welcome to our how-to videos. First of all, we hope you and your family are doing well. It's no question that we're dealing with some uncertain times that have certainly impacted our lives and our community. Our team is trying to respond to COVID-19 by providing a platform to do how-to lessons and share those with our community. So today, I'm going to share a how-to video of finger exercise. This is really easy and simple for everyone. If you noticed, we complete most of our tasks by using our hand. Sometimes, we even are doing something, feel like, oh, I'm not even thinking about it. So by doing finger exercise, it not only improve our hand and finger mobility, but also challenge our brain to think, to control, and also can distract us from this craziness. Let's get it started. Let's start with a warm-up, and I hope we can do this exercise together. Please fly your hand with your palm face up. And hold it to a position where you feel comfortably to see all your fingers. Now, let's hold them into fists with all your strength. Hold them tightly. Let's count to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fly your hand, freely move your fingers. Let's do another one. Pull your hand into fists tightly with all your strength. Let's count to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fly your hand, freely move your fingers. And now, let's make our palm face down. We are going to make another fist, but now we are going to leave our right thumb out, like this. Make sure when we are doing fist, our thumb is wrapped inside. Flat our hand. Switch. This time we're going to leave our left thumb out. Flat. Let's do another side. Please feel free to do it with your own pace. Right. Flat. Left. Flat. Right. Flat. Left. Flat. If we speed up a little bit, it will look like right, left, right, left. It's really easy. I hope you like it. So that is the finger exercise for this time. I hope you like it. I personally do that 4 rounds a day. 1 round equals to 10 sets. During this time, while we are out physically distanced, we hope you stay connected to us online. If you have a gift or a talent that want to share with the community widely through videos, please let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I am still working on assigning breakout rooms. And if you have not chosen, there's quite a few people who have not selected a breakout room to go into. If you add that into the chat, we can assign you as well. But perhaps one of my colleagues can take any questions while I'm just finalizing the last breakout rooms.
Well, let me start, JP, by we can give an applause in this way to Xinwen for creating the how-to videos. We actually have developed a whole set of how-to videos, and JP did one in his kitchen on how to bake an apple pie. He's very well known for baking, and so he baked an apple pie and walked people through it. And so when people were getting a little crazy of being inside and penned up, we started creating these how-to videos, and it's been fun. We also have done use the movement moment to use pre-made videos. So if you go to YouTube and look up Radio Tazo, is it Tazo? Is that how you say it?
Taiso?
Taiso. Radio Taiso, and you can see a set of exercises that have been developed in Japan for generations that people do daily. And so we've used those videos and have people get up and do those motions. We've used videos that are from Africa. And so just any kind of a short exercise video for 5 minutes, getting people up and doing that. And it's pretty fun to watch people standing in front of their computer doing little dance moves and things. So any questions about what we've done so far and how the movement moment facilitates actually forming this group, the learning circles? And so what we're learning is if you have over 40 people, you need a little bit longer video just to make up all the matches. Any comments so far? And Shinwen, I think just shared the link to the video, so you can use that one yourself. Did you all do the exercise, the finger exercises? Yeah, all right. Dee needed that, given that she hasn't slept in about 4 days, so.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Wendy.
I'm sort of planning ahead of how I'm going to finish out this workshop, because I have one starting right at 1 that I'm facilitating, not for the unconference. But how long generally do the conversations happen for the breakout rooms?
15 to 20, 25 minutes, I think, is the longer end. Would that be right, JP?
Yep.
Yeah.
20 minutes. Sometimes we can go to 25, 30. It depends on how much time we have, and depends on, actually it depends on the size of the group. When there's smaller people who attend, we can usually do longer conversations, because things like check-in and things take shorter. But I am ready to go. For those who have made a breakout session choice, I'm going to send you over to those rooms now. Just a quick reminder before you go, hosts. Part of hosting, what you've signed up for is you're going to reshare your topic that you want to learn more about and tap the wisdom in the room. When you get there, restate your topic and have everybody go around and introduce themselves again in your breakout room. And then please take some notes on just key insights that emerged from you. What did you learn from the breakout session? So when you get there, I'm gonna send you right now, and there will be quite a few of you who don't get sent anywhere. I will ask you again if there's one of the breakout rooms that you want to participate in, and then I can always send you after the fact. So we will have, it's 2:33 now, and so we will have until about 2:50, 2:55 before I call you back for these sessions. So you'll have some good time for learning circle conversations. All right, sound good? Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Can I send you to join Tim in room 6 to talk about research?
Okay.
He doesn't have anybody else in that conversation.
All right.
And so for those of you who are left with me, that's because I did not see a breakout session preference from you. If there is a breakout session that you want to attend, I'm happy to send you there now. And if not, we can just have some time for just general conversation and Q&A about some of these practices. Hello, Indigo. Of the folks who are still in this main room, is anybody actually still here? I see a bunch of videos off and people on mute.
Yes,
Totally
JP,
fine
I'm
if
still
stepped
here. This
away.
is Nikki. I
Oh,
wanted
I
to
figured.
like that Everett in the chat says that he indicated 7.
Oh, Everett. Oh, so Everett needs to be moved to 7. Where is Everett currently? Oh, is Everett? Everett's in here.
In the
Oh,
main
Everett,
room right now.
sending you to 7 now. Great, thank you. That's awesome. Did I miss anybody else? I might have missed folks. It's actually a lot of people. Hey, Indigo.
No one else has indicated. You're doing a fantastic job so far.
How's it going?
It's going. How's it going for you?
Good. We are currently in learning circles, kind of like Business of the Network. Would you like me to send you to join one of these conversations? I can tell you what the conversations are if you'd like. Or I can put it in the chat actually. And I have you on deck to do our checkout, if that's all right. I figured You would most likely be here by the checkout.
Yeah, no, that works. I saw it somewhere. I'll go find the question. And we're just doing the checkout in a big group, right?
Yeah, we'll just do big group, and it'll be share one word about what you're taking away from the session. You can share it either out loud or in chat. And then after we do that, I'm actually going to take a photo, like a group photo of the.
Nice. Okay.
So I just put in the, I'm running out of, it's not letting me copy and paste everything, I guess.
Oh, I can also go to you had a Google.
Oh, there we go.
Right?
I just put it in chat. So if there's any one of these conversations you want to participate in, I'd be happy to send you there. And Barbara, Pauline, or Tanya, I'll keep checking in with you if you're here and want to participate in a session, or just have questions for me and want to chat. Feel free to just give me a shout out, and we can do that.
Maybe 7?
7?
Yeah.
Going once? All right.
That works. Thanks, Stacey.
Sending you there.
Okay.
Nikki, if you're still here, sorry, I was like all over the place on the marketplace spreadsheet and was just trying to like get my bearings and was caught up on there. So sorry if I feel like I was being really confusing for you and Chinwen in there. So sorry about that. Hi, Tia.
Hi. I was wondering if I could go to Dee's room 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Group 5?
Yeah.
I can send you there. You know, I am still, oh, here we go. Yeah, I can send you to room 5.
Yay, thank you.
It should be sending you now. Is it doing that, Tia?
Not yet.
Okay. There might be.
Wait, let me see. Oh, okay, yeah.
There might be a button you have to push.
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
JP, are you on? You're muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. Hello, Barbara. Hi.
Hi. I had to step off for another Zoom call. So is everybody in breakout rooms, or did we end?
No, everybody's in breakout rooms right now. If you would like to join one of them, I'd be happy to send you to join them. I just put in the chat the different breakout rooms. Do you see those?
Let me see. Chats.
I'll put it in again.
My inclination would be number one or
number one's one's good. I can put you there.
Okay. And how long are we there?
You'll be there actually just for another few minutes.
Okay. All right. That's good. Thank you.
I'll send you there now. I think you might have to hit a button after I click it on my end. Hi, Mark.
Hi. It was a good conversation.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't want, I was one person who, didn't have anybody.
If he reports back, it will be called FASD, which is fetal alcohol syndrome. That's the population he's working with within Aboriginals. So you might want to ask him if he uses that acronym to explain it. So.
Great.
Because you're going to have report outs, right?
Not verbally. I'm just asking for notes.
Okay.
Sent.
All right.
I thought with 8 breakouts and just our timing was with this many people.
So maybe explain that normally we would do, if there are fewer breakouts,
Yeah.
we would have,
Yep.
This has been good.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
a challenge,
A little
right?
bit- Huh?
How many did you have ultimately sign up? Because I think it maxed out. It must have been
Probably
90
twice as many. It was like around 80.
Must have been 99 because Deb couldn't get in because she was on a wait list.
Oh my God.
But I gave her the link and she got in anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But really amazing people from all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully this was valuable for them.
The woman
Okay,
from
I'm excited
Kenya
to see
said
the
she's
notes.
been in 10 sessions. I can't believe that. Welcome back.
I have to run, but thank you so much.
Beautiful background. I like your room.
Thanks. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Yep, you too.
Bye, thank you. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope your conversations were full of learning. Just a reminder, hosts, ordinarily we would take some time to just share an insight or share an aha moment from each of these learning circles with the whole group. But with such a big group and so many circles and not that much time, we don't really have time for that. So instead, we're going to share those written afterwards. So just a reminder, hosts, please email your notes to me at jpgralty@case.edu. And I'll be sure to share those insights with everybody in written form. Ordinarily, we would do it in person in this, but just for timing's sake, we're not doing that. Indigo Bishop was finally able to join us during the breakout session, so we're going to actually turn it over to her, and she's going to close us out with a checkout.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Pull up the question. Okay, let's see. So for our checkout question today, we're just gonna, since there's a lot of us on the call still, we're just gonna do one word about what you're taking away from this session that you want to share with others. So, and you can also share out loud or in the chat. If you have to run quickly, feel free to type your checkout one-word question in the chat. But again, the question is, what are you taking away from this session that you will share with others?
I see marketplace, energy, connections, movement, trust, connection, engagement, satisfaction, cooperation, planning, good techniques, humility, creativity, relationships, gratitude, simplifying, Chambord, great word, marketplace, deadly,
resourcefulness, feel free to shout them out too if you want to. Either way.
Wonderful. We'll keep those checkouts coming in the chat, and as we're at 1 minute before time, we will just close with a quick virtual selfie. And so one of the things organizers are asking is that we take screenshots of the folks in the room. If you don't want your picture in the screenshot, feel free to just turn off your video and your picture won't be in the screenshot. But I'm going to take that in a few seconds. So if we all want to smile or be excited or put on an expression that relates to your one-word checkout,